Ashe and grand rising, a grand day to you all, my fellow humans. And welcome to this, the 21st, or the 21, EP21 in the series of Another Perspective on Healthy Living with your Senior Lifestyle Advisor. Plus, yes, it is I, the Mystic Philosopher. I just got back from working out, and man, it's a beautiful day outside, and it had a nice workout. I'm feeling good, real good. Yep, beautiful weather. So I said, before I do anything else, let me just come and do this talk, share my perspective. Now, to get back into the flow, please allow me to do a quick recap on episode 21. Now, in episode 21, I focus a lot on the topic of abundant life, while sharing with you some of my perspective on what I, the Mystic Philosopher, both interpret and perceive as an abundant life, and what abundant life supposed to be, my perspective. And I ended episode 20 by saying, and again I quote, the life of abundance that Jesus or Yahushua was talking about, and that I have defined, explained, and have been sharing my perspectives on earlier and thus far in this series, is not one that is built on or established on the foundation of material wealth and possession. I continue by saying that material possessions and the attachment to them are hindrances to one living and experiencing a life of true abundance. And as you shall no doubt shortly see, Jesus knew that what we possess, Jesus knew that what we possess possesses us as well, or possess us as well. And that is why it is called possessions, or possessions. And that the most difficult, Jesus also knew that the most difficult thing for this rich man and this rich and famous philanthropist that we talked about there in episode 20, the most difficult thing for this rich and famous philanthropist to do was to let go of what he possessed. Because what he possessed him as well. And that is why Jesus or Yahushua is alleged to have said, if you want to be perfect, go sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then after you do that, come follow me. Unquote. And let me quote again. From the Adamic Race History and Holy Book. Again, I tell you, Jesus is alleged to be speaking here. Again, I tell you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Unquote. That is taken from the Adamic Race History book, aka the Holy Bible, according to Matthew chapter 19, verse 20, and I read the New International Version. Now, I know some of you might be asking why I said Jesus is alleged to have said. To the best of my knowledge, and anybody can prove otherwise or show me any evidence that Jesus, Yeshua, or the entity called Jesus or Yeshua, had written anything, or write down anything, or recorded anything, scripturally write it, or record it anywhere, then, and it can be proved that it is his voice, then, so when I use the word alleged, I'm just trying to say, I don't want to tell no lie on the man, or, or on that individual. I have to say alleged to cover my track, just in case him draw me up one day and say, hey, you tell like for me, say when we never say nothing. Anyhow, now the other question that I am sure most of you, my very independent thinkers, my very critical and analytical truth seekers, may be asking is this: who would buy his possession? Who would buy this rich man's possessions? Or who will he sell his material possessions to? Yes, the rich man that Jesus told to go with that. Remember, I'm defining now the commandments for you. Go, first commandment, go sell what you have. Who would buy his possessions? Or who would he sell his material possessions to? And the answer is simple. From my perspective, other bad-minded people like himself. Remember, bad-minded people are very sick and greedy people, aka they are very unhealthy people. They just want more and more and more and more. These very sick, greedy and unhealthy people, they are functioning from the paradigm, from my perspective, they are functioning from the paradigm of want, the paradigm of lack. And as such, they are never satisfied, and nor can they be satisfied. People, greedy people, they have the biggest house, and then the little house next door, they want to buy it too. The little piece of land the next person have, they want to own it too. They can never be satisfied. Let me continue. Right, so they are functioning from the paradigm of lack. And they are always found greedy as people. Yes, they are always found wanting. Now, can any of you, my listeners, name me one millionaire, let alone one multi-millionaire? Not even to mention 1 billionaire. I mean, I say trillionaire too, because I have a lot of them here. That is satisfied with what he or she got and doesn't want more and more and more and more. You know what's happening right now? These few so-called elites, they want to own everything. But more on this point later. I will be coming back to cover this. Talk more on this point later. So let's go to commandment number 3 now. So first we have commandment number 1, go. Second commandment, sell all your material possession. And the third commandment, my interpretation, is give to the poor. I ask that you please note that Jesus or Yahushua did not say that he, referring to the person that he was talking to, the philanthropist, this rich person, that he should give his material possessions to the poor. Didn't say go give your possessions to the poor and come follow me. For example, Jesus did not say go and give away your private jets, your collections of jewelry, your gold chains, your watches, your diamonds and pearls, your private collections of fine arts, your collection of antique and other cars, or to give away your stock and bonds, your boats, etc., etc. Go give them to the poor. No, he didn't say that. And by poor, what I'm talking about? By poor, I interpret this to mean the materially poor. Time will not permit me to get much deeper into this, but I'm referring to the materially poor. Those among him back then that were lacking in basic material possessions. But then and now, that were lacking in the basic material possessions that is needed for one's natural and comfortable survival. For your information, the word poor by meaning and definition is, and I quote, lacking sufficient money to live at a standard considered comfortable or normal in a society, unquote. Note that according to that which is written, and I, the mystic philosopher's interpretation of it, Jesus did not say, and I don't think that he meant, that the rich philanthropist, in his attempt to live an abundant life, because remember, if the guy was living an abundant life, a true life of happiness, he wouldn't go and seek help. Right? So this was in his attempt to live an abundant life, aka find true happiness, should unload all his material possessions on the poor. No. For example, if while driving his Bentley, that's an example. I'm sure quite possible that then they were no Bentley. But I'm just using it as an example because what applied then, I think it can also apply here today. While driving, this rich guy, while driving his Bentley motor car, let's say he sees a poor guy walking and begging for change just to buy food and cigarette at the stoplight. It doesn't mean that he should now just pull over and sign over his ownership and registration and then hand the keys to his Bentley over to him. No. There's much into this I'd like to get into, but I guess maybe as I continue. And why didn't Jesus order him to just go and give all his possessions to the poor, instead of first selling them and then give to the poor, you might ask? Well, from my domestic philosopher's perspective, Jesus already knew that these poor people were far better off without the attachments of material possessions, and especially the material possessions of these materially rich philanthropists, both then and now. Jesus knew the state of insanity and unhappiness, the burden of restlessness, uneasiness, sleeplessness, fear and trauma, etc., that most, if not all, of these materially rich and famous philanthropists, both then and now, I might add, have experienced, and to this day are experiencing. And especially those that have gotten their material wealth and possessions through unnatural, unethical, immoral, and unlawful means. Please note, not illegal, because not just because a thing may be legal means that it is natural or moral. No, not at all. Legal. Anyway, let's get into that. But please note that not illegal, but unlawful means. There's a huge difference between illegal and unlawful. There's a big difference. Those philanthropists that directly, both then back in Jesus' time and now, those philanthropists that directly or indirectly have blood, the literal blood, the sweat and the tears of innocents, innocent mothers, innocent widows, innocent women, innocent men, innocent children, innocent babies, on their hands and hanging over their heads and even upon their heads and even upon the heads of their children, both their children and their children. Don't just ask yourself, why do you think that some of these people are existing, not living, are existing on drugs and narcotics and pharmaceuticals and booze, you name it? Why you think? Because there's no happiness. So I will be talking about one of my songs called Don't Envy shortly. I think Jesus knew that their possessions are cursed, because when you got to get your material wealth and possessions through those the aforementioned means and have these blood and these things hanging over you, the material possessions are cursed. And consequently, he also knew the headaches, the stresses, the depression, the restlessness, the rootlessness, etc. that material possessions, especially those of these cursed and condemned philanthropists, will bring upon the innocent people or the innocent poor, some of whom, if not most of whom, were and are materially poor, as defined earlier, because of the thievery. The reason why a lot of people are poor, because of the thievery, because of the oppression, because of the greed and the wickedness of some, if not all, of these rich and famous philanthropists. So not just because a lot of people boast about certain people because they're big and they have these foundations and they're giving away quote unquote money and then things like that. The amount of blood upon them. I'm sick, you stay away from them. So Jesus didn't want these wicked people to go on and unload their wickedness. I'll talk about that another time, because I was going to give an example. I think Jesus knew that poor people, aka the materially poor as defined earlier and classified by society, that have clean hands. If you are materially poor, Jesus knew that the people that are materially poor, but they have clean hands and pure hearts, aka they are unattached to money, which I, the mystic philosopher, also interpret and called money the mark of the beast and the root of all evil. And again, I'll get back to that. Jesus knew that poor people that are unattached to fame, poor people that are unattached to material things, the material things of this world are some of the happiest people, if not the most happiest people in the world today. From my perspective, they are the materially poor, but the spiritually rich and the metaphysically rich, because in them is the kingdom of heaven, or in them dwells a heavenly domain. You may also notice that Jesus did not tell him to go sell his possessions and give the money to the poor either. And the question here is why? Why didn't he say, Gary, Mark, notice carefully, he didn't say sell you have and give the money to the poor. It's very interesting. These things is so much deep metaphysical principles that are involved here that most people are overlooked. He didn't say go sell and give money to the poor. So just because you think you can give a couple of dollars to the poor and donate things. But I'm getting to that. I'm running out of time. Right? And the question is why? But I will have more to say on these 2 points later in episode 22. So please stay tuned. Yes, as I said, I've run out of time for this segment. So please join me in episode 22 when and where I will continue to diligently dissect for you and share with you some more of my perspective on the last of these 5 commandments that are allegedly dictated by Jesus, aka Yahushua, namely commandments, right? The commandments number 3. Come follow me. I will also continue to show and prove my points on the dangers of bad mind and tell you more on how you may know and how you can know a bad mind person, aka a sick person, and how we may heal ourselves from the curse of bad mind. So please stay tuned and join me then. As customary, I always ask that if you can, that you please support this series of short presentations titled Another Perspective on Healthy Living by simply purchasing your supply of lignans. And this lignans is from the Norwegian spruce tree, aka Fountain of Life, the brand Fountain of Life, from yours truly, I, the Mystic Philosopher. And you can do that by simply clicking on the links provided in the description area below this video. You may also purchase a digital copy of the song playing in the background called Have You Heard of Fountain of Life? And you do that also by clicking on the links that I've provided there. Your kind support will be greatly appreciated. I have some things to do and to get done, and every day is one day less I have to go. My time is running out, and I would like to get these things done before I go to rest with my ancestors. In the meantime and between time, my people, in your becoming, I will let you be more and not less, aka bless. For I am the Mystic Philosopher. Ashe, 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 I say.